And incidentally, this whole garbage, oh, it's a restaurant phrase. 86 means you're removing an item from the menu. Yeah, nice try. I saw a clip last night over on Newsmax, I think it was, of about 5 minutes worth of 86 meaning assassinate. 86 means to eliminate, eradicate, kill, destroy, murder. James Comey knew what he was doing. Spare me the pearl clutching that it was only a restaurant term. That isn't even a debate, okay? I'm not going to waste anybody's time even debating whether or not it meant kill Trump. Of course it meant kill Trump. So ultimately, what's going to happen? What are they going to do about it? President Trump himself reacted to this firestorm of James Comey, posting, "Oh, I'm on the beach and look at what I came across. Shells that spelled out 8647. Killed Donald Trump. Oh, look at that." And then, of course, the maelstrom of controversy emerged, and he took down the post. He evidently, Jim Hoft over at Gateway Pundit is reporting that Comey deleted his entire Instagram account. Can you check that, Tracy, and confirm that? Not that I don't trust Gateway Pundit, but that's the only place I saw that a few minutes ago, and I wonder if it's true. Because this guy has had a lot of followers on Instagram. He's like a teenager. He's like a little kid. Grown man posting pictures of shells that spell out 8647. Here is President Trump's reaction. This is for an interview that he gave to Bret Baier, which is going to air tonight on Fox News. But his reaction to this diabolical, nefarious action by James Comey has already gotten out. This clip has now been released to the public. Here's what President Trump said.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason, and he was hit so hard. Because people like me, and they like what's happening with our country. Our country has become respected again, and all this. And he's calling for the assassination of the president.
Obviously, he apologized and said he doesn't.
Well, he
wasn't
apologized
calling
because
for
he was
violence. But
look, he's a very bad.
What do you want to see happen?
What
do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. But I will say this: I think it's a terrible thing, and when you add his history to that, if he had a clean history, he doesn't. He's a dirty cop. He's a dirty cop, and if he had a clean history, I could understand if there was a leniency, but I'm going to let them make that decision.
Well, I hope they do make the decision to arrest him. How about how about you Roger Stone him? Go, bashing on the door in the middle of the night. It's 5 a.m, and make him stand out in front of his house in his underwear. Heck, do what they did to Trump and his wife at Mar-a-Lago. Go swooping in on Comey's house and go through his wife's underwear drawer. Give him the same treatment they've given Donald Trump. Of course, Trump knows that Comey knew exactly what he was doing. And back to the point that Trump made to Bret Baier, that people like me, this is the part that the Trump haters never acknowledge. It's a little bit, it's opinion, it's your preference, it's taste, it's your politics, it's your ideology. But you do realize if you don't like this guy, if you're not a Trump supporter, and you have every right not to be a Trump supporter, but you do realize there are millions and millions of people who are. That's what's so fascinating to me. And there's not a right or a wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong if you don't like the guy. But you can't tell me I'm wrong for voting for him 3 times. You can't tell me I'm wrong for appreciating a sealed border, a secure border, progress in the Middle East, a improving economy, law and order, a culture, an absolute common sense revolution. Here's Harry Enton. Here's the numbers guy. He's like Scott Jennings. How these guys get to keep their jobs over there at a place like CNN, I'll never know. But here he was with some data that Trump haters don't want to hear, they don't want to acknowledge, but is apparently very real.
I think it's time for a bit of a reality check, right? We were going to late April. Donald Trump's approval rating, his net approval seemed to be falling. He seemed to be adios amigos. People were writing his political obituary. He is rising from the dead. Look at this. Hello, Trump's net approval rating among voters. This is the Reuters Ipsos polling. Look at this. In late April, he was 8 points underwater. But look at where he was in the most recent poll among voters. He's up 7 points to a -1 point net favorability rating. This is not the picture that I think a lot of people were thinking that we would be painting in late April. I think a lot of people expected his approval rate to keep dropping, but at least according to Reuters Ipsos, it's in fact rising.
Put this then in a larger perspective, Harry.
Yeah, okay. So, this is just one poll, right? But let's take a look across an aggregate of polls. What are we seeing here? And I want to compare both to where Donald Trump is now versus where he was in late April, as well as where he was at this point in term number one. What you see is at -6 points, he is a little bit worse off than he is in the Ipsos Reuters polling, but he is considerably better than he was in late April when he was 9 points underwater. And more than that, look at this. He's nearly 10 points better than he was back in May 16th of 2017 in his first term. So what we see is Donald Trump's not just doing better than he was doing in late April of 2025. He's doing considerably better than he was doing at this point in term number one, about 10 points better than he was doing at this point in term number one.
In a vacuum, -6 isn't good, but in Trumpian terms, against himself, it's actually a pretty good position for him to be in politically compared to himself.
Exactly right. This is considerably higher than he has traditionally been.
So the big question here is why, Harry? Why did it bottom out? Why might it be rising?
Okay, why? Well, take a look at the chance of a recession. It's actually falling. The chance of a recession is falling. In late April, it was 60% according to J.P. Morgan. Look at where it is now. It's less than 50%. How about Goldman Sachs? You see the same thing. 45%, now falling to 35%. The bottom line is, it is the economy, the economy, the economy. As the chance of a recession has fallen, as the trade wars have kind of collapsed a little bit, at least with China, Trump trying to make a deal, we do see that I do think that the voters are responding to this, and therefore we're seeing Trump's approval rating going up.
You know what I love about that clip is when John Berman, the anchor, says, boy, Trump's approval ratings are increasing. They're improving. Why? Why is this? I mean, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to say because people like what he's doing, because people are excited about an improving economy. Harry Enton talks about the chances of a recession declining. You don't need to go. People like what the guy is accomplishing. Yesterday in Axios, the big article about Biden administration officials giving Trump a reluctant kudos for what he's accomplishing in the Middle East. Gary's in Minneapolis.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.